Hey everyone, Zombie Soundwave here, and today I want to do a review of Skate. The new Skate game just came out. It's free to play, and I played about an hour of it, and I know an hour isn't very long to, do a review of the game, but this is kind of like an early impressions review. Plus, I think I already kind of know what the Skate game is at this point, which is both kind of for the good and the bad side of it, so I wanted to jump into this review slash impressions and just kind of talk about a couple things that I did and didn't like about the game. And I wanted to let you all know that I streamed the hour that I played of it on twitch.tv/zombie soundwave. So if you ever want to come over and check out a live stream, please come over. I'll have the link in the description of this video as well. And I'd love to have people come watch the live streams and actually have people to talk to in the chat and stuff like consistently. So feel free to come in. But so to jump straight into this review, I want to preface again that I've only played about an hour of the game, maybe a little bit more than an hour at this point, and I like the game overall. I think it's a good game. I think it's fun. I think it's getting to the heart of Skate. I think it's easy to pick up, fun to play. The challenges seem fun. A lot of the systems in the base game seem fun. One of my biggest issues with the game is that it's very graphically behind, to the point that I actually think Skate 3 might have a better artistic direction, even though I think this game is probably still technically a better looking game than Skate 3 at this point. But man, there are some weird things about this game with it graphically, like roads don't have lines on them. Roads look kind of bad. Cars look kind of bad. I feel like there's a lot of just like motion blur, but also like graphics just don't look good anyway. So like it's blurry just because the game doesn't look amazing at all times. Plus graphically, like the actual motion blur is making things look blurry, so things look like extra blurry. It's rough. I think graphics are my number one problem with the game so far, because I think the game is fun. I think it's easy to pick up. I think it has a good tutorial system. And I do think the missions that I was playing were fun. Like, it was a fun, it was fun to jump into the missions and try to complete all the tasks. I feel like on the side of, like, it being a free-to-play game, it doesn't feel super intrusive with its microtransactions. The game, awarded me a lot of items that would be in a regular Skate game. Like, I got, like, lots of pairs of shoes, multiple pairs of, like, shirts, deck, customization. Like, I was awarded a bunch of stuff, and I did go into their store, and they do have, like, a few things in the store. Like, they have, like, a Vans set, which it looked like it had some decent stuff in it, but it didn't look like something I absolutely had to have. And they did have, like, some kind of weird things, like a Grim Reaper costume and some stuff like that. Again, nothing that seemed like I had to have it, and nothing that was, like, super fancy. So ultimately, I think you could play most of this game with the base cosmetics that, like, you are just awarded from playing the game. If you like the game a lot and you want to throw some money at the game later on, I think you could do that. But I definitely think you could jump in and play easily for, 10, 15, 20 hours without even ever feeling like you need to spend money in this game. And honestly, you might even be able to play the game and never feel like you need to spend money, which is nice. But yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about the cosmetics. I don't really feel like that's an area that they did a poor job in. Like, I think I would actually say that I would praise them for their cosmetics. The cosmetics seem pretty good so far. Unless things start to get really stingy as I keep playing, I don't really see that changing in my eyes. I felt like I got awarded plenty of stuff. I don't feel like I absolutely need to own anything that was in the store, and if I ever wanted to purchase those things, like if I put, let's say I put 100 hours into the game, I'm like, okay, I want to, support this game. I would feel comfortable currently doing that, just paying a little bit here and there to get a couple things. So, yeah, cosmetics, I don't really have a whole lot to say negative. I think the gameplay is great. I played it on classic controls, and they had an option for playing it with, like, a more streamlined control scheme, and I don't really feel like that's necessary. I don't think the game's that difficult, even with the classic controls. As someone who has played the Skate games before but really hasn't touched them in a while, it was easy to jump right back into the controls. It wasn't hard. Yeah, I mean, the game teaches you everything you need to know through the tutorials, and that's another compliment I can give this game. It has a great tutorial system. I recommend playing the tutorial and, going through all of that if you're somebody who hasn't touched Skate in a while. But yeah, no, it was super easy to learn, and I was completing, like, once I got into, like, doing, like, missions and challenges and stuff, I was completing, like, every task in the game with pretty relative ease. I had, like, some trouble with, like, one, but I still got it done. So this isn't a super hard game. It's pretty easy to pick up. Tutorial's good. Overall, I'm very happy with the package, like the whole game as a package. I don't have a whole lot of complaints about the game other than the graphics. The graphics are the big thing that's really holding it back, and like in 2026, like graphics can really make or break your game. This game looks kind of old. I just think like if they just cleaned it up, and I know it's early access still, so I'm just trying to wrap my head around the fact that like some of the stuff will probably change, but also like a graphical base like this, like I just feel like it's so far behind that it's gonna be something that like just to put it into perspective, like we just had the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3+4 come out a few months ago now, and I mean those games are beautiful, and this game is very, I don't want to say ugly because I think it actually has a neat art style still, and I do think that there are some graphically okay things about it. Like I think the characters and the skateboards and even certain parts of the city can look okay, but man, there's just some rough parts, and like roads especially, cars especially. Sometimes when you get in on like some of the more fine details of like if there's like a fruit stand somewhere or something, those things really, it really shows up in those moments. I think the city's cool. I like the variety in the city. I do worry about some of the off-skirt areas. Like I got over to this area where there was like a lighthouse and a pier, and the pier just wasn't that impressive. Didn't have a whole lot to do other than like there were some benches you could ride on and some railings, but like I kind of felt like there should be kind of like a little place back there that kind of was interesting, like find some way to use like buildings on a pier to create some kind of like little playground where like there could be some ramps or stuff. That's really probably my biggest complaint about the city itself, is that I just feel like there's some areas where it's like there's just not a whole lot to do here. So that's a little disappointing, but overall I think the city is pretty well crafted from what I've experienced so far. Again, that's something that I think I'm gonna have to play a little bit more just to decide and see how much of the city has stuff going on. Overall, I think it's a fun game. I think it has a lot of potential. It has like rotating challenges, by either like the day or so many hours. I think there's gonna be plenty to do in the game, and I still I like found like a few collectibles as I was playing. Like I found some music that I collected and stuff. So I think it's got like the base game there is enough to be interesting, and for me to put at least another 10 hours into the game just because I like to play these skating games. But ultimately, as a live service game, I don't know how much staying power it's gonna have. Like these challenges were fun, and I didn't mind doing them to get some cosmetics and to play this game because I'm just enjoying skating around. But once I put 10 hours into the game, I don't know if I'm going to be sticking around for much longer after that, unless I just kind of hit a point like in a couple months where I'm like, oh, I'd like to play skate again. But that doesn't seem like the best for a live service game, so I'm curious to see what they try to do to keep us engaged with it. But yeah, overall, fun game. I would recommend downloading it and giving it a shot. I don't know if I'd recommend everybody like hang on and play it for 10 hours, but I definitely recommend giving it a shot. I think it's pretty fun. And even like graphically, it being a little subpar, like you're moving around on your skateboard so much that like I think it can kind of get away with not being the most graphically impressive. It's just a little disappointing how some areas of the game are not graphically impressive, and it being like a 2025 game, So yeah, overall, like the game. I'd love to talk to you all about your feelings if you've played any of Skate so far. And I'll probably be back on streaming something tomorrow on Twitch again. It's Twitch Zombie Soundwave. And so if you want to talk about, Skate or any other games, feel free to jump onto the live stream. and I will catch you all in the next one. Please, consider liking and subscribing, and I've got a Call of Duty video from yesterday if you want to check that out. All right, everybody, thank you so much for listening to my review, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.